It wasn't pretty for the side of MIBR in this one. 16-2, that is such a brutal scoreline.
It is. But, it's, again, one of those things where a team like MIBR, so fresh, so new, that experience, that butt-wrecking that they just got.
Butt-wrecking.
Hey, it's me, Potter. You might be wondering how I got myself into this situation. It isn't easy thinking up creative descriptions on the fly. So here's how I got myself into this butt-wrecking mess. Shit, I need the audience to understand just how badly MIBR got owned. Quick, Christine, come on. Think of something funny. Got their asses kicked. No. Too boring. Maybe I can work this ass angle, though. Colon carnage. No, it's too graphic. That would make the Brazilians real mad. Rectal ruin. It's a nice alliteration, but it's a little too technical. Anal devastation. I'm into it. Maybe a little too extreme for me. I'll have Thorn tweet that one out later. Fuck. Think of something quick. I'm running out of time. Think. Ooh.
MIBR, so fresh, so new, that experience, that butt-wrecking that they just got.
Nailed it.
Kill for hire, soldier of fortune. Gotta walk through fire for what's important. And the warrior's blood through your veins is coursing. Kill for hire, soldier of fortune. The whole world's watching every move. Take your shot, don't act a fool. All you got and all you ever need is one bullet in the chamber. Breathe easy, take your game, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? One bullet in the chamber. Breathe easy, take your aim, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do?
The sun has risen over London, and with that, a new day is dawning here at the Flashpoint 2 playoffs. Since the beginning of our journey here at Twickenham Stadium, the competition has been sliced in half. As yesterday, both Envy and Dignitas Vi stepped up to the chopping block and swallowed the bitter pill of elimination to take our count to just 6 remaining hopefuls. But now we ascend to the heights of the upper bracket, and a chance for 2 of our teams to dig their hands deeper into our $1 million prize pool, and of course, take a step closer to laying their fingers on our Flashpoint 2 AK-47. My name is Fred Spears. Joining me for the duration of this first matchup, the wonderful Maui, and our queen of butt-wrecking over here, Potter. I love that we got the thought process behind that incredible moment.
Yeah, a lot of people would pay a lot of money to get inside this brain of mine, and I just illustrated it for you guys. I'm kidding. That was, kill me now. That was bad. That was really bad.
It was amazing. Maui, are you excited to be up here today?
Yeah, absolutely. Next to the queen of butt wrecking, it's your mind. How do you do it, Potter?
Yeah, you're getting there, Maui. You're
One
getting
day.
there. One day.
One day I'll pull out such
One
butt
day
wrecking.
you'll have your moment, Maui.
All right.
But with that, I think we can recap our format for any of you guys that are not familiar with the Flashpoint 2 format. Let's just take a little look at what exactly has gone down over the duration of our couple of weeks here in our Twickenham Stadium bubble. Of course, we started off with the group stage. That was bidding farewell to 4 of our teams, then of course coming into the playoffs. But in between that, we had our last chance qualifiers. Of course, from that, we saw the side of Dignitas, Vi, and of course our other team in Envy making it through. But of course, yesterday they came out of the competition anyway, so gave them that last chance. They didn't even seem to take it with both of their hands, Maui.
Yeah, Envy actually only won a single BO3 this entire tournament, and yet they got it to the playoffs. So good for them, though, to capitalize when it counted most in that last chance qualifier, but it's a shame that they couldn't do any real damage here. They did take a couple of maps off teams, I'll say, so that was impressive in itself, and played some of these series close, but Mad Lions were all about the business yesterday, beating them pretty handily on both Mirage and Overpass.
Yeah.
Sorry, Freya.
No,
I
no.
just had to go on this OG hype train. Yesterday in the blind spot, I kind of said Valde wasn't in my top 3 players of the tournament. Thinking back now, I mean, he surely has to be, right? Numbers, sometimes they do lie, but usually they don't. And he's up there on the leaderboards, and they had a nice 2-0, clean 2-0 for OG, which is a lot more than we can say for OG, especially considering how week 1 and 2 went for these guys.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point as well. You know, we saw them coming into this competition struggling initially in that first matchup against Gen G, but also flipping over to the other side of things with Dignitas Vi. Maybe impressive that we actually even saw them making it to the playoffs, considering the state of the team at the moment.
Yeah, I think my main takeaway from Dignitas Vi is that Heath is actually pretty serious in terms of clutches. Like, he actually leads the tournament right now with 10 clutches, and that's for a rookie, for a guy that came out of ESEA main. Vendetta, he saw him in ESEA main, plucked him out, and now he's just clutching against Flusha and Crims. Like, what is that? That's just such a great story, actually, for me already.
Yeah, it is a great storyline indeed. But speaking of players in particular, of course, we've got to get to the point here. And today, we're going to be crowning the GOAT of CSGO in terms of our players in the competition. So we're going to bring up a bracket, and we're going to see exactly which players we have to be starting off with. Let's start over on that left side with our 2 sweets in Olafmeister and Get Right. So we've got to decide exactly who will be making it to be crowned the GOAT of Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Let's start off with the first one, Mary. Who are you going to be siding with?
I've got to go with Get Right here. I feel like his consistency at the beginning of CSGO really laid the foundation for what every player was striving to do. He pioneered that lurk style and so many clutches. He had one of the best sprays at the beginning of CSGO. It felt like he just mastered it perfectly. Then they added some RNG to it, but Olaf, he had a couple good years. 2014 and 2015 were both pretty nice to him. Tech 9, the boost. I mean, he has a lot of iconic moments, but Get Right, he has so many trophies.
Yeah,
it's hard to argue with that. I have to go with Get Right here as well. Man, Olaf has such a long history as well, though. But the beginning of CSGO, it was all about Get Right. So that's all that's kind of popping into my brain right now.
Well, moving on down, it's going to be Device versus Shox. Mary, I know you already had some thoughts on this before we even saw the bracket coming in. Who are you going with?
Man, I've got to go with Device, though. Shox is, he's the poster boy of Counter-Strike. I mean, he's always just that rock star style. Like, the way he looks on camera is really how he looks in person all the time. So it's great. Once you see him in person, you'll see that he really is that rockstar. And Device, though, he's just been the best player for Astralis for a very long time, and Astralis probably the best team in CSGO history, maybe Counter-Strike history in general, so definitely have to reward their best player in Device for me.
Oh man, this one's, I can't believe I'm saying this because Device is my favorite player to watch of all time, but I'm gonna go with Shox here just because, yeah, man, Shox, he's got that passion. There's this video on YouTube that just blows my mind every time when he sat there talking to his team, talking about 5 fingers and, you know,
yeah.
I'm this finger, you're this finger, you got my back, I got your back, and it was beautiful. He's such a great leader. I'm going with Shox. How do we do a
Freya,
tiebreaker?
you got a tiebreaker.
Yeah, apparently I've got the deciding
Freya.
vote now. You both presented incredible arguments for this, but I'm going to side with Maui. I'm going to be going with Device simply because of that consistency. I think that's a real key factor. And the fact that Astralis probably are, as you said, the best team to ever grace Counter-Strike. So yes, we'll lock him in for that one. Now, moving on over to the other side, of course, a player that we've just bid farewell to here at Flashpoint 2 in the form of Forest versus coldzera. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think that coldzera has to take this one for me. I feel like his peak was a little bit more short-lived. It was a couple years, I suppose, but Forrest has been really a pillar of consistency in the CSGO scene. At the very beginning, he was definitely Get Right's right-hand man, no pun intended, but he actually was really just always a solid rifler, and I still feel like his aim is super buttery every time I watch his POV. So I gotta give a huge shout out to Forrest, but coldzera in the clutch, he's why SK and LG won the couple of majors that they did. And he's really one of the reasons that, I mean, the thing is with Cold is that him without Taco and FNX, it brings into question a few things because his recent performances have brought some questions, but maybe we can knock him down a peg later. But I think for this one, he's going to take it for me over Forrest.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I gotta go with coldzera here as well. Just thinking back on the history, I mean, Forrest, of course, has a long tenured one, but he comes from Sweden. Those Scandinavians, that's the land of Counter-Strike. coldzera just busted out of nowhere and, you know, living in a 1-bedroom home with all 5 of his teammates just grinding it out and making it to the top of the scene. So definitely full respect to these Brazilian guys. I'm going with coldzera as well.
Yeah, I think that's a fair one to be locking in. Now this one is my most favorite of our quarterfinal matchup here of the championship of GOAT of Counter-Strike. ZywOo versus Simple. We've got the guy who was born on the day the Counter-Strike was released. Like, there's no coincidence with that. That's got to say something about ZywOo. So I don't know, though, with this one, because we talk about Simple, you know, being literally the best player of all time, that consistency. Obviously, ZywOo as well, making it to that #1 in the HLTV World Rankings for last year. So I don't know about this one. What are you thinking?
I'm going to have to go with Simple. ZywOo, the game, versus Simple, the Undertaker. It's a great matchup for this quarterfinals, but Simple's just, he's been more consistent for longer for me right now. He's made it to the final of 2 majors. He's made it to the semifinals of a major with Liquid. And ZywOo, in his first major, a Vanguard bounced him out. So that's kind of, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about that one just yet. ZywOo, I mean, the future is bright for this young star, but Simple right now, he has been just such a force. Every time in the server, I feel like he is right now the most feared player in Counter-Strike. So you have to give him credit for that.
Plus, ZywOo's been at the top for just a couple years. Simple's been doing it for nearly a decade. So definitely got to give the edge over to Simple on this one.
Yeah, let's lock that one in. And let's get into our semi-finals. So we've got Get.Right versus Device. Are you both going to be agreeing on who's going through here?
Oh, this is tough.
Yeah.
Device.
Really?
It's got to be Device.
Oh, man. Yeah, lately, if it's the GOAT of all CSGO, I feel like Get.Right... Device has more majors right now at this point. Yeah, it's got to be Device.
Interesting though, Christine, because you were going with Shox initially. So would Shox have taken down Get.Right if he'd have made it?
He would have for me. Okay. He would have for me, just because the aura that surrounds Shox kind of gets me going, gets me excited about Counter-Strike. So definitely I would have. But Device, man, he, like I said, he's my favorite player to watch. Just never makes any mistakes, and he's just an asset to whatever team he's on. So definitely Device all the way.
So flipping over onto the other side, coldzera now versus Simple. I think we know where we're going to be going with this one.
So does Simple. It's gotta be Simple.
All right.
I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry.
It was great. It was great. We need more of that.
We're going to have another moment where, how did I get here?
More impressions from Potter, please. That's what we live for on the desk.
Man.
But I've got to go with Simple as well. I feel like the way he just takes over a server is just at the beginning of rounds and at the end of rounds. He's the complete package as a player, has shown that he's the best opper in the world, best rifler, clutcher in the world. So many things going for Simple. I think the only argument for coldzera I have is that he's won a couple of majors. I think other than that, though, if you remove those results, or even just say he's a finalist, it would be Simple easily. So, but the fact that Cold's done it a couple times, got to give him his props, but it is Simple.
No, he made it to the semi-finals, so that's fair enough. And now we've got our grand final between none other than Device and Simple. 2 players I think thoroughly deserve to be here. The consistency level of both of these guys. So who are you going to be giving the crown to, in your opinion, Christine?
It's got to be Simple once again. Even though I said Device is my favorite player to watch, he doesn't make any mistakes. Sometimes, I can't lie, it can get a little boring. Simple gives 0 fucks. You know, this guy will go in there. He's going to style on you. He doesn't care what you're bringing to the table. He's going to bring his A game every single time. So I'm going with Simple here.
I feel like the only time I've seen Simple slip up has been when his teammate had coronavirus. So, again, I don't really see Simple
falling. It takes
falling.
a lot for the man to fall off a little bit.
Exactly. So I got to give it to Simple as well. This feels like you're pitting the best player in the world against the best player on the best team in the world. So I got to give it to the best player.
Yeah.
Because it's the GOAT.
Exactly. It's the GOAT. And well done, Simple. Congratulations. You are the GOAT of Counter-Strike Go, according to us, at least up here on the desk. And of course, if you guys want to get some stardom yourself as well, how do you feel about winning some knives, potentially? And winning some knives that none other than James Bardolph has selected. Of course, you can see our wonderful selection along the bottom here. Maybe we can ask him after the show exactly why he selected these particular knives. But make sure you're heading on over to pinnacle.com. And make sure you're going towards the Flashpoint EN side of things. Of course, this is the English broadcast. You must be 18 years older or over to make sure you can enter that one. Of course, terms and conditions will apply. But we've got to get onto...
Paracord is mine.
That is a lovely knife. James let me borrow his paracord knife as well. He traded me it a couple of weeks ago. It's a very nice knife.
Bardolph is the best simp we could have ever asked for.
What a great
Flashpoint too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he's just always there for you. Always there for you.
He'd be simping. James Simp Bardolph. He doesn't have a real nickname, but that should be it now.
That should be it. We'll crown him that here at Flashpoint. But of course, we've got some Counter-Strike to be getting into as Virtus Pro will be taking on none other than Big after this break. But before that, Monty had a chance to check in with Keto, so let's hear what he had to say.
All right, I'm here with Keto from Big before their match with Virtus Pro. So, Keto, welcome to the Big Dungeon. I hear you arrived recently. Is that helping you to actually be on site there in Berlin?
Yeah, it's really nice to be here when I'm here, and yeah, I think it can only help when everyone is here, or almost everyone.
Fair enough. So let's go back and talk about your last match versus Envy, because I think Envy played a lot better than most people expected, and you could have lost that series. How nervous were you coming into like the end of map 2 there? Because map 2 and map 3 were both very close.
I think we knew that we had a better team and that we should close out these close games, especially because like we're just better than them. But yeah, they played better than we expected. But yeah, we came out on top.
Were you disappointed by your performance at all with Envy, and have you taken the day off that you've had to prepare anything in particular heading into the Virtus Pro match?
Yeah, we talked about our maps we played, what mistakes we made, and like we fixed a lot of stuff. Also talked about our communication, like it was really hectic, and yeah, we will improve that today.
Since this is such a huge tournament and, you have a chance to win $500,000 if you actually make it through to the finals and win the whole thing, were you pleased to see OG being knocked down to the losers bracket? Do you think that makes it easier for you guys in the winners bracket?
I don't know. I think every team like is really good since they're here, and if you want to win this tournament, you need to win against like everyone probably anyways. So we don't care where we meet them.
That's fair enough. Your opponent for today is going to be Virtus Pro. So Virtus Pro is a team that's performance has been on the rise over the last few months. What are your initial impressions of them and their play style versus yours?
Yeah, they're a really strong team. Since they added Yekinda, I think they had a 20-game win streak or something. And yeah, I think they're really like Yekinda's really aggressive, and then you have James who's really passive. Like I don't know, they have a unique playstyle, I would say. Yeah, but I think we will beat them today.
That's fair enough. All right, so after you guys play, we do have another match between Fnatic and MIBR. Do you have a prediction on that matchup? Because MIBR has been surprisingly good recently, and Fnatic a little bit shaky. Who do you think will come out on top? Who do you think you will play if you end up winning your match versus Virtus Pro?
I think Fnatic will come out on top. They're a much better team. But if MIBR gets into the game and like they hype each other like they always do, then they have a chance.
Why does everybody think that MIB are hyping each other? Because I was talking to this with NBK as well from OG. He thinks that's a real strength of theirs. Do you agree with that? Do you think that that gives them a lot of momentum?
Yeah, I think so. Like, if you have 5 players who hype each other that much, like if everyone is fine with that and is playing better because of that, then it can only help you.
Very interesting take. All right, well, thank you for joining us, Keto, and good luck in your match today versus Virtus Pro.
Thank you.
After the break.
Virtus Pro versus Big.
Only on Flashpoint.